Here's the definition of antiquity: the ancient past, especially the period before the Middle Ages.
Now remember, people, antiquity is the ancient past, especially the period before the Middle Ages. Not 2000 BC, not 5000 fucking BC, not 1000 BC, not 500 BC, not the 3rd century AD, not the 5th century AD, not the 10th century AD, but antiquity is everything that goes all the way up until like the 16th, 17th century AD. That's antiquity.
According to Wikipedia, in the history of Europe, the Middle Ages or medieval period lasted approximately from the 5th to the late 15th centuries, similar to the post-classical period of global history.
So we talk about from the 5th to the 15th century. Anything from the 15th century all the way back is the Middle Ages. You have guys out here that would try to have you to think that antiquity is only way back in the days of Kemet or way back in the days of ancient Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Or even even as far back, as the days of like the cuneiforms and Sumeria. A lot of people think that stuff is antiquity, and it is. But antiquity goes all the way up until at least the 15th, at maximum, the 15th century, our time. And mind you that, because if these people are trying to have you to think that if this was something in 1492, that's not antiquity, and it is. I would even go as far as saying 1565 or 1580 is still antiquity. Proverbs 26 and 28. A lying tongue hates those it hurts, and a flattering mouth work ruins. Liars hate their victims. Flatterers sabotage trust. A lying tongue hates those it crushes, and a flattering mouth causes ruins. Proverbs 26:28, meaning and commentary. Proverbs 26 and 28. A lying tongue hated those that are affected by it. That is, a man of a lying tongue, that is giving to lying, hate those that are crushed by his lies. The reason why he hurts them with his lies is because he hates them. And having hurt them, he hates them, being made his enemies, and from whom he may expect and be in fear of revenge. Being made his enemies, and from whom he may expect to be in fear of revenge. Moreover, he hates those that are troubled at and disturbed with his lies. Wow. Remember this now. This is deep. This is deep. Okay? This is that a man of a lying tongue, that is giving to lying, hate those that are hurt and crushed by his lies. Wow. Being made his enemies, and from whom he may expect to be in fear of revenge. Moreover, he hates those that are troubled at and disturbed with his lies, or the contrite, contraire. And humble men, they don't like them either. I was telling Black Jesus Minister this just this morning. And those who smite or strike, him. And some render the words actively, that is, reprove him and bring him to shame for lying. That's what I say. Bring him to shame for lying. The words are by some translated a contrite person, or someone of of the contrite ones hateth a lying tongue, such as are of a broken and a contrite spirit, and that tremble at the word of God, or are hurt by lies. These abhor a liar, like me. The Targums is a lying tongue baits the way of truth. And the Septuagint, Syriac, and Arabic versions render it a lying tongue hate truth. And so the Vulgate Latin version, a lying tongue loves not truth. For nothing is more contrary to a lie than the truth. And a flattering mouth worketh ruins, both to itself and to the persons flattered by it. Make an impulse, a pushing, a driving away. It drives away such as cannot bear its flatteries, and pushes on such that are taken with it, both into sin and into ruin. Now peep this, y'all. Now let's listen to the words of this lying motherfucker right here, because he hates y'all. And he don't like me. You know, this is the reason why they don't run with me. You know, because they scared I'm going to get their ass. And I'm finna get them right goddamn now. Let's go.
Writings, most importantly, documentation of his belief, spiritual system, from firsthand account of how he depicted himself, which is something that is extremely missing in the Hebrew Israelite doctrine. Something where it depicts where the Hebrew Israelite actually says himself, he is a Hebrew, he is an Israelite. That does not exist in ancient antiquity. So here we go. This is the per Amharu that they will not.
Here is the lie. That was the lie. That was the lie. He said that he said no Israelite have no evidence of any black person in antiquity, in history, saying that they were Jews. Now let's get to this. Now as we read here, this here is the Britain Septuagint translation, Songs of Solomon, from the Septuagint, which is way before antiquity, all right? We're going back into the BC areas, okay? Chapter 1, verse 5. I am black but comely. Mind you that word but, we're going to deal with that because that's a mistranslation. Trust me. I am black but comely, ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. I am black. Look not upon me because I am dark. Same word there for dark is the same word for black. Okay, look not upon me because I am black, because the sun has looked unfavorably upon me. My mother's sons strove with me. They made me keepers in the vineyard. I have not kept mine own vineyard. Now, this here verse here really crushes him, okay? In spite of all of the mistranslations that are in this verse. One may say this is a mistranslation. This is not a mistranslation because it's Greek, but I am here to tell you that if this was translated by Hebrews, and Hebrews were presenting their thought, both in English and in Hebrew, the word and but are conjunctions and can be used the same way. Okay? So why in Arabic, English, Hebrew, and a multiplicity of languages are the same thing. So we're talking more so in English and in Hebrew, okay? That this word "wa" is "and." So it really means I am black and beautiful, not black but beautiful.
According to Encyclopedia Britannica, it was written in Hebrew in Palestine around 180 to 175 BCE by Ben Sira, who was probably a scribe well versed in Jewish law and custom.
Well, this person didn't say I was yellow because the sun was unfavorable to me, because the sun is hot and it burns. Okay? He didn't say I was yellow. He didn't say I was tan. He did all humans. He said I am black, which cut him tremendously. And we see right here, this is from 180 to 175 BCE. Now, that's from the Britannica. Now, we can go down here to Wikipedia. Wikipedia said the first 5 books of Hebrew, known as the Torah, was translated in the mid-3rd century BCE. We got the Associates for Biblical Research, a brief history of the Septuagint. The very first translation of the Hebrew Bible was made in Greek, probably as early as the 3rd century BC. That's way beyond antiquity, bro. That's more than what you asking for, bro.
5. First am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. 6. Look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept.
Look at the first 3 words. I am black. This is your King James, Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5 and 6. And then you go down to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go to the 6th word, and it says, "Look not upon me, because I am black again, because the sun has looked down upon me." It didn't say nothing about how the sun was, how this person was not fortunate because the sun looked down upon him. And this is in the Anglo-Saxon version.
1611. According to the British Library, King James Bible, 1611. The King James, or Authorized, version of the Bible remains the most widely published text in the English language. It was the work of around 50 scholars, who were appointed in 1604 by King James, R. 1603 to 25, and it is dedicated to him.
We're in Shir Hashirim, which is the Songs of Solomon. That's Hebrew. Now we're in the Hebrew Tanakh, okay? Which is the Songs of Solomon, Shir Hashirim, okay? And we go down again to verse 5 and 6. It says, "I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, the tent like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. Do not look upon me disdainfully, because I am swarthy, because I am black. For the sun has gazed upon me. My mother's sons were incensed against me. They made me keepers of the vineyard. My own vineyard I did not keep." Now, as we go back, you see right here in verse 5, as we go all the way over to the very, very far right, we see the hey symbol. That's the H, ha, for 5, okay? Hamsa, okay? For 5, okay? Hamsa. It is Shakura Ani Wanawa Benut Yisraelim. This is why I tell you people that you should have firsthand research, primary sources. Then you got secondary sources. The blessed part about the Tanakh is both a first and secondary source if it is translated, which is duality. All right? Good for the historical method. Now, when we're looking at this first-hand source, the first-hand source says Shakora, which is black. Ani, which is I am, me. Okay? Then you got Wanawa and beautiful. Benut, the daughters, okay, Yisraelim of the Israelites. So this is black and beautiful daughter of the Israelites I am. Or I am a black and beautiful daughter of the Israelites. That's first, the primary translation. I am a black and beautiful daughter of the Israelites. Then when we go over to the English, we see the slight mistranslation. I am black but comely. Sakura ani, wa nawa, and beautiful. The word wa is known as and it is more so translated as and far more than it'll ever be translated as but. We have a whole nother word in Hebrew that can be translated for but, and that is mostly used. Why is and? There is no but beautiful. These are signs to show you that the translations is off, and the reason why the translations is off is because the Europeans, your enemies, translated. They lied to you in the English translation, and Tehuti believes their lie. He is pushing their lie, and he is a liar, and both he and the Anglo-Saxon hate you. Yes, Tehuti Amenhotep Ra hates you because he sits up here and make you believe his lies, and if you don't believe his lies, he don't want nothing to do with you. So the proper translation is Shakura Ani, I am black, Wanawa, and beautiful, not but beautiful. Shakura Ani Wanawa, I am black and beautiful. I'm going to show you after this that why is and not but. So it's clear that I am black and beautiful. Okay? This goes all the way back into antiquity. Tehuti is a fucking liar. I am black and beautiful, daughters of the Israelites. I am a black and beautiful daughter of the Israelites. That's what that translates properly. Shakora Ani. I am black, Wanawa, and beautiful. Benot Yisraelim. Daughter Israelites. We don't put the word of there because it's automatically implied. Just like Benai Yisrael, children of Israel. That's children Israel. There is no of there. It's automatically implied. Benai Yisrael, children of Israel, my sons of Israel. Ben Yisrael, son of Israel. Benot Yisrael, daughters of Israel. Ben, son, Benot, daughters. Benot Yisrael, daughters of Israel. Shakora Ani, Wanawa, Benot Yisraelim. Shakora Ani, I am black, or I am a black, because the A can be implied. Both I am black or I am a black is the same. I am black. I am a black. Wanawa and beautiful. Benot Yisraelim, daughter of Israel, of Israelites. Yisraelim is plural. For Yisrael is singular. Yisraelim is masculine plural. She's saying that she's a daughter of the Israelite men.
According to Wikipedia, According to the Talmud, much of the Tanakh was compiled by the men of the Great Assembly, and Shai Knesset HaJedalah, a task completed in 450 BCE, and it has remained unchanged ever since.
Now, Tehuti would like to lie to you and have you, because it's better for his benefit to stretch the truth, to have you to believe that the Tanakh was written in the 10th century AD. But the facts is that the Tanakh was mostly fully completed in 450 BC with the Aleppo Codex, or the Aleppo translation, the Aleppo text, before the Masoretic text. Okay, but the Masoretic texts go back to 450 BCE. You hear me? For a task completed, according to the Talmud, much of the Tanakh was completed by the men of the Great Assembly. A task completed in 450 BCE. Now, these are the Jews. They saying that their writings go back to 450 BCE. Now, let's see what the haters have to say about when the Tanakh was written. We go back to when was the Bible written at Biblical Archaeology Society. We talk about biblical history. When was the Hebrew Bible written? Was the Hebrew Bible written earlier than previously thought? That's what a 2016 study says, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. It suggests this. The study was led by Tel Aviv University doctoral student Shira Feningbaum Golovina and Ari Shausa and Barak Soba. Damn, out of all of those names, only one of those names is Hebrew. The Tau researchers analyzed multispectral images of 16 Hebrew inscriptions, which were written in ink on ostraca broken pottery pieces using a computer software program they developed. The ostraca, which dates to 600 BCE, according to the researchers, was excavated from the Judahite forest of Irad in southern Israel. The researchers say they were able to identify at least 6 different handwriting styles on the inscriptions, which contained instructions for the movement of troops and a list of food goods. A TAU press release notes that the tone and nature of the commands precluded the role of professional scribes. The results indicate that in this remote fort, literacy had spread throughout the military hierarchy, down to the quartermaster and probably even below the ranks. Now, our job is to extrapolate from audit to the broader area, explained the TAU professor of archaeology, Israel Frankenstein, who leads the research project in a TAU press release, adding that we know about audit to other forts and administrative localities across ancient Judah. We can estimate that many people could read and write during the last phase of the First Temple period, which assumes that in a kingdom of some 100,000 people, at least several hundred were literate. The Israel Museum curators have called Gabriel's Revelation the most important document found in the area since the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Read the original English publication of Gabriel Revelation along with Israel Koal Bar, which is a biblical archaeology research article that made scholars around the world consider links between ancient Jewish and Christian messiahism in the free ebook Gabriel's Revelation. So when the So when was the Hebrew Bible written? What does literacy in the Iron Age have to do with it? Scholars have debated whether the text of the scholars, we ain't talking about fools like Tehuti, we ain't talking about motherfuckers like this nigga right here who ain't got no goddamn teachers in the goddamn world. We ain't talking about no nigga like this who ain't never been to no college, who ain't never been to no university, a guy who despised knowledge and teachers because his teacher got locked up. Malachi York, his teacher was a goddamn crook, a scam artist, a con artist, a rapist, and a pedophile, and a homosexual. Scholars have debated whether the texts of the Hebrew Bible were written before 586 BCE, when the Babylonians destroyed Jerusalem, razed the first temple, and exiled the Jews, or later on, in the Persian or Hellenistic period. If literacy in Iron Age Judah was more widespread than previously thought, does this suggest that Hebrew texts could have been written before the Babylonian conquest? The Tel Aviv University researchers think so, based on the study of the ostraka from Arad. Not quite, saying epigrapher Christopher Ralston, associate professor of Northwest Semitic languages and literature at the George Washington University, in a lengthy blog post. We're going to read that post too, analyzing the TAU study. Ralston contends that there is not enough information from the orchestra to make estimates about the literacy of the Iron Age Judah. Ralston point out that according to the publication of Johanna Aroni, the original excavator of Arad, the 16 ostraka came from different strata dated across the 7th to the early 6th century. That's going back even further, Tehuti, in the BC area, and therefore do not date to 600 BCE. Moreover, we cannot tell how many of these inscriptions were written at the Arad fortress and how many came from elsewhere. So rather than arguing on the basis of 16 ostraka that ended up at Arad, that we have a proliferation of literacy, Ralston says. This is the archaeologist. While you say you can't find nothing, the archaeologist who's digging, the archaeologist Ralston said there's a proliferation of literacy that they found. I say simply conclude that we have some readers and writers of inscriptions at Arad. That's all we can say. That's all we can say. Ralston notes that he and others have argued, however, that there is enough epigraph evidence from ancient Israel to conclude that already by the 8th century BCE, there was sufficient sufficient intellectual infrastructure that is well-trained scribes able to produce sophisticated historical and literary texts, Tehuti. 8th century BCE, bro. And you lying about there's nothing in antiquity. You ain't got no evidence, dude, to back that bullshit you just said. Additional details, sophisticated and substantive scholarly arguments for the early dating of the Torah has been made by William Schneidenwind. Remember that name, y'all, William Schneidenwind. Here's one of these archaeologists that you bring up when these niggas talking that bullshit about there's no historical, or with Tehuti get to talking that bullshit about there's no evidence of the Bible beyond the Greeks, beyond the 2nd and 3rd century BCE, which beyond the Septuagint, which is a goddamn motherfucking lie. Additional details, sophisticated and substantive scholarly arguments for the early dating of the Torah has been made by William Schneidenwin, author of How the Bible Became a Book, and Seth Snyder in The Invention of Hebrew. Observes Candida Moss, professor of the New Testament and early Christianity at the University of Notre Dame. That shit that your boy be saying is not scholarly. Let's talk about what scholarship is and what a scholar is. This shit is scholarly. They at school, they're learning, they're teaching. I just showed y'all this book the other day that they're teaching in school that the African Americans in the Olmecs discovered the Americas. Now, these are the type of guys that tell you Tehuti Amenhotep Ra is the type of nigga that'll lie to you and tell you and mislead you that they teach lies in school. That's because he's an old dumb motherfucker. I got a new history book, and in schools, they not teaching them old lies. They not teaching them lies that they taught him, that he's still out here teaching y'all. Shit like Christopher Columbus discovered America. Well, I'm here to tell you, in my city, because of the work that me and my mans put down, guys like Rudolph Windsor, dog. Guys like Runoko Rashidi, dog. Guys like Ivan Van Sertima, dog. Right here in the city of Detroit, homie. Guys like Clyde Winters. Guys that are teachers that work for the school systems of the United States of America, and you don't, nigga. All you doing is sitting your bitch ass around on YouTube hating people, scamming people like your crooked ass fucking teacher, Malachi York Imam Isa El Hati El Mahdi. Nigga, sit your ass down, boy. You whack. Now let's sit up here and see the shit that this nigga sit up. I'm finna put on the end of this video too. And I'm just gonna make it my last thing. The evidence to show you that this bitch ass nigga hates scholarship.
See, is the Carstens Elementary Middle School at Remus Robinson,
Detroit, Michigan.
And this is the Why We Remember United States History Through Reconstruction book by Herman J. Viola. This is the history book that is given to the students at Carstens Elementary at Remus Robinson Middle School. Okay?
1998.
That is being taught. As you can see here, this is a school book. All high schools, junior high school books start off like this. You see? And as we get into the first pages of this book,
1998.
we're going to start talking about the book.
When this dumbass nigga graduate, 1980.
Of America. Okay? We hadn't even gotten to chapter 1 yet. Okay? As you can see here, this is page 18. Okay? And they teach about the Olmecs here in the city of Detroit, Michigan. Okay?
School, Detroit Public School System. Dummy.
Okay?
Scholarship, student.
And as we look over here, when we read about the Olmecs, it says that a people called the Olmecs created the earliest great civilization in Mesoamerica. It flourished between 12 BC and 600 BC along the Gulf coast of what is now the Mexican states of Veracruz and Tabasco. Olmec civilization is known as the mother culture of Mesoamerica because later societies built on Olmec ideas. As we read further down here in the little caption, it says that the colossal Olmec heads are thought to be either individual portraits of Olmec rulers or styled portraits of Olmec gods. Some of these Olmec heads have features, facial features that resemble those of many African people. Some scholars have suggested an African origin for Olmec civilization, though no archaeological evidence yet has been found to support this. Now, when you look at stuff like this, if you can see these clearly, you have black rulers with white people as slaves. You see the white people,
paddling the boats.
they're slaves here. And all the blacks are in
naked,
dominant
not
and
even
ruling
clothed
position. This creates a problem for those who think brothers like myself, JJ 7000, Black Jesus Minister, and many other Israelites who teach that Africans came to Americas and were the Olmecs. This here will create a problem for them because it's not us that are teaching this. They're teaching this stuff in the United States, Detroit, Michigan public school system. Okay, so if they're teaching this in school, okay, the small teachings that I'm doing is nothing. I have 1 or 2 students a year that may listen to me, and maybe none of them graduate, okay? But this school is pushing out hundreds of children that are graduating every year, hundreds, with this information. And if you're saying that we're teaching false information, I'm telling you that we're teaching the very information that is being taught.
scholarship.
Okay? The very information that is being taught by teachers, scholars, and schools. When you have archaeological evidence like these big colossal heads, some that has long braids and all type of, they said these are African facial features, and this is archaeological evidence, but they say there's no archaeological evidence. That's double talk, and it's crazy and it's ridiculous.
I had to cut that short. You know, actually, I should have let it play it out because it was a second into the game. You know what I'm saying? So, in order to be a scholar, you have to go to school, man. So I ask you again, Tehuti, are you a motherfucking scholar? Now, is you gonna lie to the people again? Do we gotta pull out a definition to define what a fucking lie is so you don't do it to the people, nigga? Are you a scholar? Who trained you to be a scholar? Where did you get your training at? New Wabi? Nigga? A cult? Nigga? And that where you got your motherfucking training from, nigga? Who trained you? That's what I asked you, dog. Did a scholar train you? Did a teacher train you? Or did a fucking crook train you? Or did a fucking scam artist train you? Or did a rapist train you, nigga? Or did a fucking fag train you? Or did who taught Kimmy? All of that shit is yes, boy. Now, this is for you, Sinetta. Why you riding this clown ass nigga a dick? This nigga ain't shit out here, boy. And you must not be shit if you think he's something. Nigga, that nigga ain't shit out here. Straight fraud and false ass information. And you backing lies, nigga. You can't love black people if you backing these fucking lies for Tehuti and Owesby against the children of Yahweh Israel. You can't be, nigga. The definition of scholar.
Here's the definition of scholar. A specialist in a particular branch of study, especially the humanities, a distinguished academic.
A person who is highly educated, a person who is highly educated or has an aptitude for study. A student holding a scholarship. This nigga don't fit none of these definitions in reality, dog. And if I that 2 hour video, if I had to break down all the lies that nigga told, that video would take 3 fucking hours. I swear to God. Or might I pardon you, the 3 hour video he made on Sinet, if I had to break that shit down, it would take 6 to 8 hours. All of the lying that he doing. Because I would have to first pinpoint the lie, and I would have to use the scientific and the historic methodology to show you that this nigga's a fucking liar. And that shit would take a very, very, very long time. Because you niggas believe the fucking lies he tell. Now, the earlier definition of scholar was from the Oxford Language Dictionary. But when we go to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, Noah Webster, which was his ancestor, was the first person to ever write an English dictionary, ever. And the word scholar, according to the Webster family, is scholar, definition of scholar, a person who attends a school or studies under a teacher, a pupil, a person who has done advanced study in a special field, a learned person, a holder of a scholarship. The number one definition is a person who attends a school. What school have you went to her fucking Hootie? I showed you some fucking elementary shit that I learned when I was in elementary school, nigga. When I was in junior high school, they were teaching that same shit then. It was just a different book. Where's you getting your scholarship from, nigga? What school you went to, nigga? What teacher have you sat up under, nigga? You not a fucking pupil? Now we go to the Cambridge Dictionary lookup scholar. It says a person who studies a subject in great detail, especially at a university. Nigga, you don't learn. You don't become no scholar in no motherfucking coat, nigga. Running with Imam Isa Malachi York. Shut your funky ass down, nigga. Someone who is intelligent or good at learning by studying. No, nigga, you good at teaching by lying. Nigga, you ain't good at learning by studying. Nigga, you someone who is intelligent and that's good at teaching by lying. Nigga, by conjecture, fucking guesswork, and insufficient motherfucking evidence. Now, y'all listen to this crazy shit. All right.
So basically, Yashar is going to ask you a few questions. Kind of feel you out, see what you believe in, what you don't believe in, and you can go from there. All right, Yashar. Yes.
My first question I wanted to ask was, how long have you been studying? You kind of answered that in your introduction.
These are all
you said several
questions,
decades. Several, you mean like 70 years? Several? I mean, like how many decades would you say that you've been studying?
I've been teaching since 1993. I've been teaching.
I asked the nigga how long you been studying. I didn't ask you about your teaching because your teaching is bullshit. I'm not concerned of your teaching is bullshit, and I'm concerned about your study habits, bro. And where the fuck you getting this bullshit ass conjecture that you putting out into the fucking world? I asked you how long have you been studying, nigga? You see the bullshit answer he gave? That's the type of nigga he is.
Teaching for over 20 years. So I've been teaching since 93. I became an official teacher in 1995.
Okay.
I asked you when you were studying, nigga. How long you studied?
Being that we are in a European paradigm, being that we speak a European language, we read and write a European language, what is your take on higher education, like colleges, universities, and things of that nature?
Okay. Also, before we start, Jeremiah Judah, I'm just seeing me on the screen. Is that how it's supposed to be, or is it the? Oh, wait. Yeah, no.
Nigga, answer the fucking question, nigga.
There we go. Okay.
I'm gonna ask your ass again.
Here you go. Okay. If I understand the question properly, Yasha is asking, how do I feel about higher education?
Nah.
Yeah, you basically, like in colleges, university, European education, basically.
Well, that actually depends on the topic. That actually really depends on the topic, because European education could cover everything from math to geometry, geology, science, English. It depends. I don't send my children to any European school, so I don't advocate so-called European education. But if someone is
So your kids could never be fucking scholars. You can't teach them. That shit you teach a nigga the bullshit, boy. You fucking your kids up, nigga. Send their ass to school so they can be taught by trained professionals, dummy.
getting any type of paperwork in a mathematical educational form in a European college, I wouldn't denounce that or speak badly upon it. I would give them the history of where math originated from, but I don't have any problem with European math per se. The European history, yes.
There's people in that college and that university, especially the professors, who have not been trained on the history of math. You dig what I'm saying? They know how to do the math and they're excellent at it, and they're professors, bro. So many of them people don't know nothing about that shit you talking about and will bust your ass with math, boy. Trust me, I've been there. I work with them motherfuckers. All right?
So, you basically would not advocate going to European colleges and universities studying Egyptology and stuff like that?
You should.
I would. It depends. It really depends on the situation. I speak to people that are going to colleges to become Egyptologists, and I would advocate that, because we need some more of our people in that position, so they can go over to Kemet and represent and see some of the lies, and then come back and correct them. So it depends.
I mean, but what about out here in the street? Is it all right for a nigga like me to correct your lies when you sitting out here teaching that there wasn't no black people in antiquity, saying that they were Jews and no records? Man, you a fucking liar, bro. The very Bible, the most biggest selling book in the world, is a testament against you, nigga. The testimony is against you in every fucking household, nigga. Whether they read it or believe it or not, the testament is against you, dog. And that bitch is broad, nigga.
A situation, I would promote that in certain circumstances. Not as the end all. Not as the end all. Not as the end all education, of course.
So after you got your fucking PhD in Kemet, where the fuck you go after that, Tehuti? Who gonna validate you after that? You? Jabari? Man, get the fuck out of here, clown ass cult niggas.
Do you believe that you are a scholar?
Yeah, scholar. I've been to schools and I teach. I've taught scholars. Yeah.
Do you believe
This? I asked this nigga, do he believe he's a scholar? And he said he been to school to teach. But we all know the definition of a scholar is a motherfucker who been to school to learn. This nigga, when we keep asking this nigga about his learning, he ain't got no answers. Pseudo ass nigga.
scholarship should be validated.
Do you think scholarship should be validated?
That depends, because the validation is the logical fallacy of appealing to the masses. So
Well, we're going to deal with the logical fallacy of appealing to the masses, and we're going to see if you're correct, and you're wrong on that. Nigga, you should have went to college and learned what real logic is, dude.
that really depends, because you could be validated.
Let me better ask that. There's a lot of people, as you see today, that are Facebook scholars, YouTube scholars.
Cold scholars.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
And in my journey, there are certain disciplines that I come across where you need a teacher. Okay? There's certain disciplines that you will catch hell learning learning this discipline
and
by
Kim
yourself.
Is one of them.
I'm asking you, do you believe that you should be validated, and if so, who validated you?
Where did my screen go? Okay, wonderful. So as far as being a scholar, a scholar actually just means a student.
Yeah,
so,
meaning that you would have to have a teacher. Who was your teacher?
I've had a few teachers. At one point in time, I was
Nigga,
under
who is your motherfucking
a man named
teacher?
Malachi. And during my early years, I've learned under the teaching.
Is that Malachi York?
Yeah, I used to live with him.
Stop. This nigga went to a motherfucking cult. He ain't been in no school. He ain't been in no colleges. He ain't been in no universities. He too busy concerned about teaching, but he don't know shit. This video is a testimony. I could point out 30 fucking lies great of this magnitude that this nigga just made on Sarnetta's show yesterday. I guarantee, I'll bet you $1,000 I could. All right? Really? This nigga need to take his ass to school and learn instead of out here teaching. And anybody who teach, getting taught by them, getting taught lies by this nigga, hate they motherfucking self, because surely he hates you because he lying to you.